Okay, so record in the cloud. I'm looking to you, Ryan.
Yep.
Thank
That
you.
is what you should do.
Okay, I'm recording now.
All right, great. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. So today we are going to talk about some person-centered tools and resources that we have available through the Department of Human Services and through the Disability Hub MN. My name is Beth Groovy, and I work at the Department of Human Services in the Disability Services Division, and I'm the Benefits Planning Coordinator. And along with us today is Carrie Jacober, and she will also be talking about training the LifeCourse Materials and some family resources. And Ryan Mers is also with us from DHS, from the Disability Services as well. So we'll get right into it and jump in to the presentation. Make sure I can move my presentation. There we go. All right, so we have three different kind of groups of materials and resources and tools that we'll talk about that really all are intended to support a person in engaging in employment and planning for the future, and just to help reach informed choices about what they want to do with their lives. The first one we'll talk about is the Disability Hub MN. So some of you may have heard of the Disability Linkage Line in the past. And the Disability Linkage Line renamed itself to the Disability Hub MN. It's a free statewide resource that helps people with disabilities and everybody who supports them really dig in and solve problems, understand what resources are available to them, navigate the system. So we know there's a big system that people are often engaged in when they have a disability. So there's benefits and there's supports and there are a lot of different things. So the hub can really help people navigate all of those things. And then the planning tools and helping to know kind of the ins and outs of government and of the different programs and resources. So you can reach the hub through the phone. So they're housed at the Centers for Independent Living, but they are statewide. So anywhere in Minnesota, anybody can access them. You can call. The phone number is there is 866-333-2466. So you can call and get answers to questions and get resources and things like that. You can also chat online, so through different websites. So we have the disabilityhubmn.org website, DB101.org, HB101.org, and then minnesotahelp.info. All of those have the chat feature on those web pages, and you can go online and do a live chat and get connected with an expert who can help you understand your options and solve your issues. You can also email. So there's an email address there, info@disabilityhubmn.org, that you can send email questions to if you have those. So really the mission of the hub is to make it easier for people with disabilities to understand options, connect to solutions, and engage in possibilities. So sometimes we get questions like, well, what's the difference between the Disability Hub MN and 211, or the resource to just get some quick information? Well, a big difference is that at the hub, they really dig in and help people understand their options, understand the whole issue, and connect to the solutions that are going to help most. So it's a longer conversation, a longer engagement, usually to try to help through the whole process and solve the problem that is presenting right now, but then also how do we help avoid the problem in the future? How do we help give resources to promote planning and understanding? So, and the way we do this at the hub is through the network of experts. So the Centers for Independent Living, again, is where the hub is located, and they have a strong network and connections to different areas like the state agencies that have the programs and the policies. They have connections to the counties and the lead agencies that can help get things done. So there's a big network of experts and subject matter experts, but then also all the tools and partnerships that are necessary to fulfill the mission. And here are some of the values. So focusing on the person, making sure we're looking at their whole lives, not just at the one issue that's presenting in front of us or the question that is there, but the whole person, looking at getting really in-depth knowledge and assistance to help resolve barriers and understand the complexities of programs and policies, and then sharing what we learn, helping to better serve people, and reaching out during those critical transitions. So for instance, when somebody is turning 18, there's a lot of information or a lot of things to think about, especially if you're a person with a disability who is on benefits on SSI, for example. There's a lot to think about. So that's a critical transition point. So how can we reach out and how can we support at those sort of those times? And you can ask the hub anything, really anything disability related, they can help answer. So anything from, you know, what are my health insurance options is it's the most common question we get is about health insurance. So a lot of questions about benefits and health insurance counseling. So how can I, what are my rights and how can I plan for my future or other things, and anything in between. We get questions, I always use the example, we get questions from, you know, what is SSI and what's going to happen to my SSI if I go to work, to is there an accessible movie theater in my area? So, and everything in between. So the hub can really just help get information to answer questions and move forward. We also have a website. So this is something that's fairly new. It was just implemented probably a year ago or so. So it's disabilityhubmn.org. It's all one word. And this website is where you can go to get connected to the hub. You can see on the top little chat box. If you click on that, it will take you into a live chat with a hub expert. They are open between the hours of 8:30 and 5 o'clock every day. And so you can do live chat. The phone number is also up there in the email address, so you can click on that to email as well. So there's a welcome video that you can play to get a little more information about the hub, or if you want to share this with families or you're interested in a little more information, you can go there and play that little welcome video too. It's just a couple minutes long. I wanted to mention on this page before I move on. So there's the welcome, you can go learn more about the hub. There's also a section right now on COVID, so on the coronavirus support. You can click on that and get a lot of resources. So we've compiled a lot of resources that are very specific to people with disabilities related to the coronavirus. And this is just that page. It's a screenshot of that page and all the resources on it. So a lot of information about childcare and children and families, how supporting children during this time, and all of that information is there as well. All right. So once you go onto the hub website, there are different ways that you can navigate in the site. So one of the things that you can do is to go into the My Options area. And when you go in that section, you get all of these drop downs, other sections that you can go to. So you can go in and learn a little bit more about how to live, choices and how to live my best life. You can get information on home, skills, health, money, and work. So the one we're going to talk most about today is in the work section. So how do we help youth with disabilities engage in and connect with work and explore their options and find resources and answers? So when you click on that button, then you get this screen that comes up, and it's all about work. And some of the subtopics are things like, what are my options and rights, work and benefits. And there's one specifically down at the bottom right-hand corner that's related to youth. So you can click on that, and then you'll get a pop-out, another window that opens up. That brings up a screen, and you can kind of see how the hub is set up. It talks about What are the things you need to know as far as youth and being able to work? Some of the questions you need to start asking. And then there's a Learn More section with some resources. And you can click on those resources and learn more information. And then the bottom section will talk about how the hub can help you. So within those resources, there are a lot of different things, but a few of the things that I really wanted to point out. So the benefits for young people, talking about what benefits are actually available for young people. Also a big article about turning 18, what you need to know when your child turns 18. Work is possible is just helping to understand that work is possible. A lot of the benefit programs and a lot of the information that has been out there has really kind of said, oh, if you have a disability, you can't work. So really kind of refuting those myths and talking about how work is possible. The next thing is the 4 ways benefits support work. So benefits actually do support work, and you can work if you do have benefits. So learning more about that. And then this, I have a little picture of part of one of the resources, what parents can do to support future employment. So that's a really great, it's just a fact sheet that you can use as a parent, a lot of information on it for you. Also, if you are an educator, you can print this and share it with parents or with families, just to let people know that there are some really good tips and information out there. So those are just some of the resources that are available for parents and families and for educators. Another section of the Hub website I wanted to mention is the Hub Partners tab. So on the top of the screen, when you go to the Hub website, so again, it's disabilityhubmn.org. When you go to that page, up on the top, there's a Hub Partners section. And when you click on that, you can get into resources and tools that are specifically for professionals who work with people with disabilities and also anybody who supports people with disabilities. So there's a work toolkit. You can access Hub materials. So if you want magnets or you want some of those little kiosk cards to share with families or with people you're working with, you can order those on that section. And then the Charting the LifeCourse materials are also there as well, which is what Carrie will talk about next. So when you click on that, the Partners tab, one of the things you will see is this box that's in the background. You'll see the Charting the LifeCourse materials are there. And so that is a section that you definitely want to be familiar with and get into. It has a lot of great information. And this is what, when you click on check out the LifeCourse materials, you will get this box. Hi, Eileen. This box pops up and you will get access to all of these tools, which are really helpful planning tools, and Carrie's going to talk more about those, I think, right now.
Great.
And I will stop sharing so that you can start.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like it's coming now.
Great.
There we go.
Perfect. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Jacober. I work as the Family Connections Coordinator at the Department of Human Services. My focus is really to connect with families that have a child or family member with a disability to help with services, support, information. So I'm really excited to be here today to share some information with you as family members. I am a busy professional, but also busy mom of 4. So I have 3 kids that are transition age, and 2 of them have disabilities. So as a fellow parent, I'm really excited to share information about Charting the LifeCourse with you today. So what is Charting the LifeCourse? some people just refer to it as LifeCourse, and I probably will here too, just it's a little shorter, but LifeCourse is a framework and a collection of person and family-centered life planning materials that were created by families for young people and families to help develop their vision for a good life. So charting the life course can help youth and their families think about what they need to know at any age or stage of life, including how to find or develop supports and discover what it takes to live the lives they choose. So these tools, what I think is really cool about them is they're for all people. So these aren't tools for people with disabilities. They're tools for people without. Like I said, I have 4 children. Some have disabilities, some don't. These tools are just as beneficial to my kids with disabilities as they are for my kids without. So I think that's really great. As far as what charting the life course on the screen, you'll see that the core belief is that all people and their families have the right to live, love, work, play, and pursue their life aspirations in their community. So that is kind of what the core belief is. Everything kind of streams from that kind of mission value statement for charting the life course. As far as Minnesota goes, as a state, a year ago, we joined 21 other states that are also using charting the life course in their system. So we're kind of new to introducing charting the life course to families in Minnesota, but we are really excited because there's 20 other states that have blazed the trail and have had a lot of success. So I think you'll really like these tools and what they have to offer. So with that, this is a guidebook. I'm going to just kind of walk through some of the materials just to give you a brief overview so you can get an idea of what they are and how you can use them. So what you're seeing on your screen now is the family guidebook. So this guidebook is a resource for families that can introduce you to the materials that you can use to support your child and to help them plan for the future. These also allow you Thank you, Ryan. These also allow you to have more meaningful conversations. Let me see if I can switch my view here. There you go. Oh, okay, great, thank you. Problem is my camera isn't always on the right screen that I want to be on, so I will talk off my probably other screen. So anyway, we're looking at this guidebook for families. It allows you to have those more meaningful conversations. But the life course tools are flexible and they can be used by anyone and at any stage in life. So you can use them with your child to help plan, and they can also be shared with others. So, you know, it's great to do planning and to do tools and resources, but it's that sharing that is like taking it to the next step. So folks know kind of what is the expectation? What are you planning for? How can we all work together and partner around these goals? So the tools can be used for a specific goal. They could be a really narrow focus. They can be used broadly. There's really no wrong way to use them. You can set a vision for work and community life. You can help your child or young person capture strengths in their interests. You can help them plan for a successful school experience, or like, what does life look like after graduation? You can share this information with either community members, employers, coworkers, medical staff, service professionals. They allow you to do things like explore opportunities for technology support, to solve a problem. Like I said, there's really no wrong way to use these. So this guidebook is available to help families kind of be introduced to the tools and their uses. So this is the first tool I want to tell you a little bit about, and it's called the OnePage Profile. So it's a tool that is used to share information about a young person at a glance. So So this is how families can work with their child to help them identify information that really matters to them. Families can help their child use this in many ways. So what is great about it is it's a simple, easy to use tool. It really helps to define what matters most. And there's 3 parts to this tool. So the first one is that blue box that you'll see on the top of the screen that talks about strengths and what people like and admire about your child. And then in the yellow box, it talks about what's important to me. And the other, the white box with the blue outline talks about how to best support me. So this is a great tool to share with people that interact with your child. But you can use this OnePage profile depending on your child's age. If you're talking about a transition youth or a young person that's kind of, able to complete this on their own, then I would encourage that. Like independently, your child can complete this. If you get stuck on like, what do people like and admire about me? They could ask somebody, ask a friend, what do you like about me? What do you think's cool about me? Or ask around, and that spot can be easier to fill out. It could be that they need some assistance. So we always encourage, you as parents to help support your child to complete this. But if they can complete it themselves, that would be great. We also want to encourage you to offer opportunities for them to use this then. So then they could put it to use to introduce themselves to community members, to medical staff, to providers. It could be at a job interview that this is given to a potential employer, that they could kind of get an idea at a glance, who this person is and how to kind of have a meaningful conversation with them and what they would need to be best supported by. We also have seen a lot of folks use this with young people and their coworkers to kind of exchange information with them. I have one at my office for my coworkers, so it can be used for everybody. Plus, it's also a great opportunity to build self-advocacy skills. So if you're using this to introduce, your child is using this to introduce themselves, that's a great way to start that, building those skills. Another way parents have been using this tool recently is around contingency planning. So if you are planning for your child, like for instance, what if you become sick and are unable to help support your child? Or what if your child is sick and you're unable to be with them? This is a great way to record meaningful information about how to best support them and what's important to them in case during these times of COVID-19 that we're not able to be with our children all the time. So I think the more specific you can be, the better. It could be that you do a profile page like this for that you fill out with the information that you have about your child. Your child can do this on their own. It's a great way to record that information. Here's an example of a one-page profile, and I'm not going to go through this, but the slides are available for you to read. But this one is about John and different things. Like for instance, people like and admire that he's social, loves to be around friends. What's important to him is sports. And then these are the ways that he can best be supported. And so these are very helpful to know that, having staff there that assist him, when he prompts them. Like, so John doesn't need to be maybe he doesn't need assistance all the time, and we don't want to give him too much assistance because he'll let you know when he needs to be supported or needs a little help. So this is the next tool called the Life Trajectory. A trajectory is really a path or a direction to create a vision for a good life, or maybe it's a job you like. So you have a vision for your child and their best life, and we also want to support your child to have their own vision. So you can also, some parents will fill this out like, this is my vision, my parent perspective vision for my child, and then the child will fill it out, and then they'll kind of see like, where do these align, or where is there some opportunities for rich in there. There's different pieces to this, but this is really about, this tool is used really for goal setting. It's for helping planning, and And there's 3 different parts to it. So you really look at this first box, this purple box, like what's my vision, say, for a good life? Like what are the type of things that would make for a good life? I would talk to my child about that, encourage them to kind of come up with those ideas and shoot big. Like we want to raise expectations here. We want to make sure that we are dreaming and visioning big. And so we want to record that in this box for what my vision for my best life. You know, some people will say it's around vacations or friends or financial stability or housing or a job I like. You know, that can be recorded in this purple box. Sometimes it's hard to think like, what is my vision for my best life? That's kind of a big question. As parents, I would encourage you to also try this on yourself. I know I have done it too, and it's kind of, I think, a really great exercise. And I think you can use it as a useful tool no matter who you are. So if it's hard to think about that, like what is my vision? I'm not sure. You can skip down to this orange box, which talks about what I don't want in my life. That's usually a good place to start, even if you can't think about what you want, because everybody knows what they don't want. You know, we don't want poverty. We don't want loneliness. We don't want to be bullied. There's lots of things that you could talk to your child about and find out what it is that they don't want. And going up the stairs here are the steps. Like, what are the steps and experiences that we will take in order to get to that vision of a good life? So if there's ideas going on about things we could do, and it's going to bring you down here to things you don't want, it's an opportunity to have some good discussion and to really look at how are the things we're going to do going to get us to what we want. So I think this is a really great tool that can be used at meetings. It could be used at a school meeting. It could be used with a provider. It can be used to introduce at maybe a case manager meeting, no matter if it's with a social services or any type of planning meeting or setting a vision. This is really great. And I really encourage you as parents to really set high expectations and champion those visions with your child. Here's one I did that I was thinking about distance learning, because as parents, that's what's on our mind right now, right? We have kids. I've got a kid doing online soccer right now in another part of my house. That's just the reality of the times we're in. So this is one I did about a trajectory when I was thinking about planning for distance learning. Like, what is my best distance learning experience look like? Well, it'd mean that there's a flexible schedule, that technology and support, that there'll be different options for different types of learners, because I have different learners at my house, that they'd allow for some balance for family and for work responsibilities at the same time. What I don't want is I don't want a lot of stress, anxiety, frustration, lack of academic progress. And so some of the things I thought were good action steps that would help me get to that successful distance learning experience was about creating space for my child to work, to reduce distractions, to really make a schedule and keep it. So these are some examples of things I thought about while using this tool, and in a way you can use it for planning. Here's one related to employment, because I know that's kind of a lot of what we think about when we're talking about transition age young people. And so I'll let you look at this example, but it really talks about John, and he's 16, and it looks like it's building towards a job he likes, which is related to sports. So these are different experiences that he's had in the past that have been successful and would bring him to his vision of what he'd like for a good job. These are some of the things he could work from or work on now to get him to that job. This is what that job looks like. And then in the orange box below is what he doesn't want to see happen, and things that have happened in the past and that could happen in the future that would take him there, down that path. The next tool is the integrated star. And this tool is really helpful for where you put the person's name usually in the middle of the star here. But the star represents different supports and opportunities and strengths that are unique to them. So the integrated star really talks about that we all use a variety of supports in our day-to-day life that help us. We're on technology now, so we can help communicate to each other and talk to each other, and that's just a form of supports that are available. So the different supports that this tool identifies is ones around personal strengths and assets, technology, community-based supports, eligibility-specific supports, and relationship-based supports. This tool is great for problem solving, identifying strengths, exploring options, seeing opportunities. So when you're really looking at doing an inventory, like my child has these strengths and assets. My child uses these supports for technology. My child has these community-based supports. Maybe my child's eligible for certain supports. There may be certain benefits or medical assistance or supports through the school or through an employment counselor or service provider. Those are the eligibility specific supports. And also in relationship-based supports. So what this tool is doing is looking holistically across the person's support options. So it's not just like my child needs to be eligible for this waiver and this particular service and that provider, and that means they will get the job they like. We want to make sure that we're looking all around to see like what sort of community-based supports might help them get to that goal, and what kind of, we want to make sure we're not narrowly focusing on one type of support. We're looking at all different. Another way that this tool is really helpful is around solving problems. So if you put like the problem in the middle, like say transportation, we want to look at how are we looking at that problem of transportation and like looking at all these potential support options in technology, community supports, like are there people in the community that could help with transportation to get to a job? Are there formal services that they'd be eligible for that could help them get to a job? Are there technology options that would support them in using public transportation or different transportation options? Excuse me. So that's one way of using this integrated support star. Here is an example, and here's an example that folks in Ohio have been using around social distancing, which I think is a really cool way to use it. So when we think about social distancing for our kids, what are some of the ideas of the different areas of support we could use that we could do while we're social distancing? Talks about strengths and supports up here, but it does look at different technology options. And as we all know, technology is key in these social distancing times where we're able to stay connected through FaceTime and Zoom and some of these other options, but this gives you some ideas on like what are some options about technology and still maintaining social distancing. If you go down here, it talks about community-based things you could do and activities that are still maintaining that social distancing. Different eligibility supports, these are examples out of Ohio, but different relationships, like how can you maintain relationships? And then what are the strengths and assets that people bring to that? Here's a way to use it for employment. These are brainstorming ideas in the different categories that could help you when you're thinking about the different supports, maybe around your child's day-to-day life that would help lead to an employment goal. I'm not going to read these, but they'll be available on our slide deck. Materials, life stages materials that are available on the Disability Hub website. So a lot of times, families like family members will tell me, I don't know what are the right questions? What are the things I should be looking at this particular age in my child's life? These are those life stage guides that help you kind of kickstart conversations. They're questions that I think really lead to kind of thought-provoking things, and they're for different life domains. So it helps you think about kind of like what are the common experiences and concerns that during each life domain. It allows you to look ahead, like if you've got a transition age family member, maybe you want to look ahead at the adulthood one to see like where should we be working towards, or maybe we're not quite at the transition life stage domains yet to the different areas of the life. Maybe we should go back and look at how we can have some conversations about the school age ones. So there's different, like I said, I referenced life domains. So there's different areas within these guidebooks that kind of cover your whole life. It's not about just health and safety, which when we talk about people with disabilities, we're always talking about health and safety. Well, this is looking across broader areas of life. It looks at different areas, including daily living, community living, safety, health, living, advocacy, and meeting social needs. So here's kind of an example out of the booklet for the Transition to Adulthood booklet. If you're thinking about that trajectory that I showed you a little earlier about planning, if you're not so sure what to plan for, this gives you some great ideas about that. So this first one is about daily life and employment. It kind of asks these questions like, what supports do I need for either work or other daytime activities, and who will provide those supports? Well, that's a good question. And if you haven't kind of explored that with your child or with their team, it might be one to ask. There's questions here about community living, and it goes on to the other areas that I mentioned. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Beth.
All right, thanks. Let me see if I can share my screen again. All right, thank you. And again, I just wanted to remind you where you're able to find this information is on the disabilityhubmn.org. So sorry, got to catch up to where we are. So all of the tools, the Charting LifeCourse tools that Carrie talked about are on the disabilityhubmn.org website. So if you go to that website and then click on the Hub Partners area, you will see the Charting LifeCourse Materials there. All right, so the other resource that we wanted to talk quickly about is Disability Benefits 101. So DB101 is a website, and you can see the website link down here on the bottom. And I should let you know we will make these slides available. I think as you came into the meeting, I don't know if you all saw the little box that said download, if any of you downloaded it already. If you did, then you have them. If you didn't, we can figure out a way to get them to you and make them available. So the website is www.mn.db101.org. And DB101 is a resource that can help you get information, gives you benefits information, so explains what benefits are, how they work, and there's tools and resources on there as well so that people can understand benefits, learn more about work incentives, because all of our benefits in Minnesota support work and have incentives for people to go to work. Some planning tools in DB101, and then also that whole piece about managing those benefits when you go to work. So DB101 has articles. When you go on there, you'll see the home page, but then you'll also see on the top there are tabs. So you can go in and read an article. You can see we have a lot of them. It's a lot of information about different benefits that people with disabilities might utilize. So we have cash benefits that lists most of the common ones in Minnesota, healthcare coverage, and then also a section to talk about work and savings. And we have, because we know, so when we first built DB101, there was a lot of information. It was a little overwhelming, and lots of information in big, long articles. And we heard really loud and clear that it'd be really great to have a short, little, concise way to get the information. And so we created videos. There are now, I think, 8, maybe 9 videos out on the website that are 3 to 5 minute videos that give a little overview of the benefits and kind of how they support work. So we have ones on SSI, SSDI, Minnesota benefits. We have one specific to youth, SSI and youth who work. So this one really talks in detail, more detail about the student earned income exclusion and how that works and things you need to think about if you're a student, a youth who has SSI and you go to work. So those are available. We also have estimators on DB101. So you can go into the website and go to the school and work estimator. We have a benefits and work estimator that's a little bit longer and more detailed. And you can go in there and enter your information. So, and create scenarios. You can make fake scenarios. You can use your actual information. It's all very generic. So let's say you get $783 a month in SSI, you would enter that in. So it's not personalized. There's no sharing of personal information. It's simply putting your information about your benefits in and then putting your work scenario in. So maybe I want to go to work and earn $12 an hour, working 15 hours a week. It will calculate it and let you know what is likely to happen to your benefits if you go to work. So this is an example of a results page in School and Work Estimator. So I've completed the School and Work Estimator. I've gone in and said, you know, I get $783 of SSI today. Maybe I say I live on my own. I pay my fair share of rent. I don't work, and, you know, I give details like that. I'm on medical assistance. Put those details in, and then I say, oh, I would like to earn, you know, this amount of money working this number of hours each week, and it will come up with a result. So in this plan, today, you can see I have $783 of SSI, and if I go to work, I would have $1,305. So people can really clearly see, here you are not working and on SSI, and here's what your bottom line income would look like if you went to work. So it's a really great way to engage people in having that conversation about work and thinking about what, you know, is it possible? It also shows that you would keep your free medical assistance that you have today if you went to work. So it's a really powerful tool to help start that conversation and to answer questions, because that's a big barrier for a lot of people thinking about, you know, how is this transition and going out of high school into the world of work? What's going to happen? How am I going to make sure I have what I need? So another part, another tool that we wanted to mention is called the Vault. So as part of the websites that we've talked about so far, we've built this online tool that can help people safely and securely store information. You can put documents in this Vault. You can access your own benefit information, so students could go in and request benefit lookups from the state of Minnesota and get their information to verify benefits. You can share information with people in the team. So if you have an IEP team, for instance, let's say you have a teacher and a VR counselor and a case manager for your waiver and a mental health case manager and parents, and you want a way to be able to share this information. So you've gone in maybe and done some things and you want to share that information. The Vault could help you do that in a secure way. And it really is a tool to help support planning and setting goals. So it's important to remember that we have two sites. So we have the Disability Hub, mn.org, that we've talked about. And then we also have the Disability Benefits 101 website that I just talked about. You can log on. Up on the top of each page, it has a register and sign on. And so there are two sites. They share one Vault. So if you put information in or you sign on in the DB101 website, you also sign on to the Hub website. So here's an example. It shows you where to register. You can click on DB101 or on the Hub website on register, and it helps you create your own account. It makes it so secure. All the information is encrypted. You use your email address and you create your own password, and then you submit and you create your own account. And I know a lot of you in schools are familiar with Google Drives, right? So it's kind of been compared to that. So it's a place where you can store stuff. You can do activities. You can share information. You can add contacts. And the difference between kind of a Google Drive, what I've heard a lot from schools is, you know, when school ends, that Google Drive goes away because it's your Google Drive at school, right? Well, the vault is there forever. A person could keep it, and anybody can create their vault account. So professionals a lot of times will create the vault account to be able to store and securely share with the people they're serving, and then the people they're serving will also create vault accounts, and that allows them to communicate securely with each other and to share information back and forth. So this is an example of the files section. So I have saved these files in my Vault account. If I click on this button, I can share it with whoever I choose, who I've set up in my contacts area. So I've gone in and created some contacts. Maybe I've entered my case manager, my school teacher, my parents. I can put those in there, and then I can share whatever information I want to. So it gives the person control over their own information and allows them to be able to share information with whoever they want to. So you can see that I've shared my benefits planning team information with Mary Poppins. So as you're going through this, I know there's a lot of information that we're giving you, but I want you to remember there's a chat feature on DB101 and on the Hub website. You can always chat with a Hub expert and get help if you have questions about the sites themselves, how to navigate, what's in there, how to use the vault, anything like that you can ask them. And then also if you're on either of the sites and you still have a question, you can certainly chat with them as well. So that live chat is available to you as well. So a couple examples about how to use the vault. You can, for example, Carrie talked about the charting and LifeCourse materials. You could complete maybe the integrated STAR or the life trajectory and upload that into the vault. So it's a drag and drop feature. You drag it maybe from your desktop or from your computer and put it into your vault, and then you can share it. Maybe the student shares it with their parents and providers, their case managers, VR counselor and teacher. And it would be a quick way to share with everyone at the same time, and it's secure. So you could also do things like complete a skill and work estimator session in DB101, and that results page that you get, you could, it creates a PDF, and you could share that as well. Another idea would be to upload the IEP or the VR employment plan in the vault, and then share it with the waiver case manager or with your IEP team. So there are a lot of different uses that it could help with. So just a quick review, and then we'll see if anybody has any questions. I want you to kind of, like I said, I know we gave you a lot of information. So really just in review, remember that the Hub has people. They have people who can help you answer questions, get resources, and get the information that you need to move forward. And anybody can call them. It's a free statewide resource. The phone number is there. You can also chat online. And then remember that the Hub website itself, the disabilityhubmn.org, has tools and resources, and that's where the charting and LifeCourse tools and planning materials are. DB101 is the site that will help you understand work and benefits. So how do work and benefits go together and plan for your future? And then the Vault is a tool within those websites, part of DB101 and the Hub, where you can store documents, create contacts, and share information. And here is my contact information. I'm Beth Gruby, the top one there, and then Carrie is on the second one listed there. So you can contact either of us if you have questions. But does anybody have questions right now? We have just about 3 minutes. Any questions?